Some nightmares fade with the morning light. They shatter like glass, leaving only fragmented memories. But what if a dream, a single terrifying dream, clung to you? What if it felt more real than waking life itself, dragging you back to a loss you'd already lived, only to then plunge you into a struggle against unspeakable forces? This is not just a story. It's an account of nights I can never truly escape, of a reality that blurred the lines between the conscious and the utterly terrifying. It began with a city, a place I'd visited but never called home. Yet, in this dream, it was our home. The air was thick with the scent of rain, a familiar comfort that would soon betray me. I remember walking down the familiar streets, a strange pull guiding me towards a specific house. It wasn't my childhood home, not really, but I knew it was where I belonged in that moment. The feeling was unshakable. As I neared, a silence fell over the street, an unnatural hush that swallowed the gentle pitter-patter of the rain. Then I stepped inside. The air was heavy, charged with an invisible weight. People were there, their faces blurred, indistinct, but their sorrow was palpable. They wept, their hushed cries barely audible, and every single one of them was looking at me, their eyes holding a secret they couldn't voice. I felt it, a cold dread seeping into my bones. Someone had died. What do you think that silence meant? Was it respect, or something more foreboding? My feet carried me forward, a premonition guiding each step, though I fought against its dreadful certainty. I walked through the quiet rooms, the only sounds the relentless rain outside and the muffled sorrow within. Then I saw it. In the deepest part of the house, a body lay still, shrouded, respectfully concealed from view. More fear, cold and sharp, pierced through me. My mother was there, her shoulders shaking, a silent testament to an unbearable grief. I couldn't speak, couldn't ask the question that clawed at my throat. I didn't need to. I moved towards the shrouded form, a magnetic pull, and with a horrifying certainty, I knew who lay beneath the cloth. It was my father. A man I knew only through faded photographs and whispered stories. He had been gone from my life since I was young, a void I'd learned to live with. Yet, in this dream, his death was happening anew, raw and agonizing. I clung to his body, shaking him, pleading with him to wake up. It felt so real, the texture of his clothes beneath my hands, the cold finality of his presence. The world felt like it was ending. That day, in that dream, was a moment I never wanted to re-experience. A gaping wound reopened, bleeding anew. But then, just as the despair threatened to consume me, he was walking, my father, alive. He moved away from me and I followed, desperate, disbelieving, a flicker of hope amidst the profound grief. It felt so intensely real, the echo of his footsteps. My heart pounded, a frantic drum in my chest. He turned, slowly, and looked at me. His face, still unseen, was nevertheless his. The presence was overwhelming. But he said nothing, not a single word. And then, as quickly as he appeared, he was gone. Vanished. It was as if he had manifested just to acknowledge me, then slipped back into the void. The dream people, even my mother, were faces I didn't recognize, yet I knew them. I felt their strong presence, their undeniable identity. It was a paradox that only dreams could conjure. And then, I woke up. But the dream didn't release me. The waking world felt no different. I was still dreaming, still trapped in that liminal space between realities. The deep, aching sorrow for a father I'd lost so young was still overwhelming. My real life, where I only had a mother, felt like an echo of the dream. It was still deep night. I couldn't understand what this dream meant, why it had chosen to resurface with such brutal clarity. And then, I must have drifted back to sleep, because the true horror began. This wasn't grief. This was pure, unadulterated terror. I found myself in immense danger, hunted by creatures that defy description. Not human, yet possessing a twisted intelligence that chilled me to the core. Again, the feeling was intensely real. The dread, a living thing in my gut. This time, I didn't feel my physical body in the dream, but I felt my will. For the first time, I could control what was happening. I had power. When these grotesque beings attacked, intent on ending me, I could bend them to my will, force them to act against their own terrifying desires. The city was under siege. People, faceless like those in my first dream, were being mercilessly dispatched, their heads severed and thrown into a monstrous pit. I watched, helpless for a moment, as this unimaginable brutality unfolded, knowing my own life was next. I felt the edge of the abyss, the absolute end. But in that exact moment, just as my spirit seemed to give way, I woke up. Or rather, I tried to. For a few terrifying seconds, I couldn't re-enter the waking world. My thoughts raced, my mind was alive, but my body refused to obey. My mouth was sealed shut, my limbs paralyzed. It was sleep paralysis, a phenomenon I would later understand, but in that moment, it was an extension of the nightmare. I fought, willing myself to move, to speak, to break free, and with every ounce of my strength, I lurched upwards. For a brief, disorienting period, everything that had just happened, every terrifying detail, vanished from my mind. It was as if my spirit, my very essence, had detached from my body, only to fight its way back in. At that moment, I knew with an unshakable certainty that there was another world, distinct from this one, where I existed. It was like living in two realities simultaneously, one waking, one steeped in the deepest fears and mysteries of the subconscious. What do you think? Are dreams merely figments of our imagination, or are they a gateway to another realm, another reality, where the rules of our waking world simply don't apply? Have you ever had a dream that felt too real? A nightmare that clung to you long after you woke?